All right, sorry about that. We're back. I apologize. I didn't mean to lose you guys. All right, are you there? Are you there? That was a tad bit crazy. I apologize for that. Little technical difficulty. I didn't realize that was going to cause a problem. But
Can you see me now? Is it any better?
yes, I can, but it doesn't look like our stream took off after I restarted it.
It says live.
God,
What happened?
I don't know. God. All right, there we go. We're back live all of a sudden. That
Dum.
was freaky deaky. I got
That
to
was
fix
weird.
Facebook now.
Huh?
I got to fix Facebook now. So anyway, I'll I'll, I'll do that right now while I'm talking. So anyway, so every time that Deb and I do a show like this, she screws it. I mean,
You ain't right.
something technical happens, and I'm not 100% sure exactly why or what or what's going on. Or like I say, it shows streaming here.
It shows streaming here. It's counting. It says live 3 minutes and 8 seconds, 6 seconds, something like that. I see three eyeballs. Hi guys. Hi eyeballs.
Sending data. Copy that. But yeah, every time we talk about this or this topic, particular topic, something technical happens to
Mhm.
us. Where I mean, I probably honestly can guarantee that every show that we've had has had some, and we've talked about that, has had some kind of technical difficulty, and it's weird. It's weird how it happens, and it's a lot of what you guys just saw is that we'll start talking about the topic, everything will drop out, or we'll have audio problems where you can see us but you can't talk. What we had going on tonight was Deb was talking about some experiences and what she was doing, and her camera went blurry and her audio went unsynced, and that's how we ended up where we are now. I don't know if Facebook Live is going correctly. It says sending data. Sorry, you guys on Facebook.
Yeah, I it's been a weird week here. It's been a weird week. Um and my I have this Madar detector here in my room that I was gifted by some folks here in Indiana to keep in my house. Madar, I can't. What all does it detect? It picks up changes in barometric pressure. It picks up big changes, not little. Um, um,
Yeah, I was going
electromagnetic.
to ask you about this actually. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. I have it written down here somewhere. Um, oops, wrong place. But anyway, it's hooked up to a it's hooked up to a speaker, so it's really loud. And I've had it here for a couple of years, or a year and a half anyway. And it has never gone off until this last week, and it's went off twice in a couple of days. And the first time it went off, as soon as the sound stopped and I could hear an aircraft flying over my house. Now I live in an all brick
Mhm.
house, and my windows are closed. It's winter, and when my house is closed up, I don't hear. The only aircraft that I can hear fly over my house are those big B-52s that fly into Grissom
Right.
when
Yeah.
they're low and they're coming in low over. They come right over my house, or like the medevac that comes up off the Howard community over here, a few miles away, and
Right.
one of their paths is like right over my house, and I can hear those. This was a jet. This was not a commercial jet airliner. A jet flew over my house. I ran outside, didn't see anything, and it was really overcast and crappy out too. Now the second time it went off a few days later, it was like 11 o'clock at night. Me and Missy were on the couch. I had dozed off watching TV, and she
Mhm.
had fallen asleep on my legs. And this sumbitch went off, and I come through the ceiling, and she jumped about 2 feet off of the couch. And I ran in there and to look in the room, and I immediately ran outside uh, and looked around, and the sky was super clear, and I could see an airplane, but it was just way up high. It was just a a jetliner, I'm sure. It was typical airplane. Nothing else. Didn't see anything else, and just thought weird as hell. And then last night, I was laying on the couch about midnight watching TV, and this is the second time this has happened as well. My son
Yeah.
was not home. He was in Marion playing bingo with some people or whatever. But
Bingo.
so he was off. He was off. He liked to play the bingo, but so he was off and out with friends. And I was laying on the couch, and there's like somebody come up behind the couch and said, "Mom," in my ear again. This is the second time I have heard someone call "Mom" in
Yeah.
my ear, and it sounds like one of my boys. They both kind of sound the same. So it's it could have been either one.
Yeah.
Immediately, I hear "Mom," and I'm like, "What?" And my head goes on swivel automatically after 45 years of being a mom. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but he wasn't home, so I immediately thought, "Oh shit! I hope he didn't have a wreck and die," or some. Mom always thinks crazy
Damn.
stuff. I
You went
texted him right
dark.
away. I'm like, "Where you be?" And he goes, "I'm with friends. Why?" And I'm like, "You just didn't call my name, did you?" And he goes, "No, I'm not home." I said, "Okay, just checking." It's
Like,
like,
I'm not home. What are you
it's like,
talking about?
what is happening here? And then I put this video on my Facebook page. The other night, it was about a week or so ago. Remember, and you saw it, didn't you? That video with Missy on
Yes.
there acting weird.
Yeah. You send it to me.
This is, I mean, there's some weird energy going around in my house right now. But Missy is my dog. She's a Yorkie. My other dog, Sheldon, whom I adored, he passed away on November 5th unexpectedly, and we were devastated, and Missy was devastated. And then my cat, Skeety, passed away last year at Christmas time. So now we've always had a whole bunch of animals, and now we're down to just Missy. But anyway, Missy went over to her toy box to get a toy out, and she stopped really abruptly and
Yeah.
looked, kind of weird. And then she started making all kinds of whining noises and strange noises. And I watched her head. She was looked up at have a little them steps that go up to a little perch on the window where the cat and the two little dogs would go and look out the front window, and there's a pad there they could sit on. She's looking up on the pad, whining and crying, and it's like she watches somebody come down the pad, and then somebody's walking around her toy box and then standing in front of her and she's staring and I'm like, what is happening? And I said to her, Missy, who are you talking to? She turned around and looked at me and I'm like, is Bubby there? She turned around and looked at me real quick and then she'd go, and I was like, what is happening? I mean, I wasn't scared, and I started trying talking to Sheldon, but it's like, what is with the energy around here lately? But here's what the NADAR unit that they sent me, which I swear they gave it to me so they could use me for bait. But that was my treadmill. It says data transmitted to the dedicated server and recorded by the device gives the node number. That my node is 255. Changes in compass heading, geomagnetic field readings in milligauss, and the barometric pressure, all in date time stamped UTC. And the data is stored on the server. And by comparing readings prior to and after, one can establish the magnitude and duration of an event. So, and Kevin Day, who is my Facebook friend, who's involved in this, he reached out to me and asked me what my node was, and he went and pulled the data for it, and he sent an email to the folks that are doing this, and I have not heard back from them yet, so I don't know what they.
I have the video, Missy.
Can you play it?
Yeah.
You want to play the video so our viewers can see it? Because it is kind of, don't you think it's weird? It's not just me, right?
No, not at all. Here it is.
Okay.
Hold on.
I can't hear it.
She was totally seeing something.
I know. I couldn't hear it. Could you?
Uh-huh.
I wasn't able to hear it. She was whining and carrying on the whole time.
She was.
And I mean, she did that for a good 5 minutes. I finally quit recording her and I just sat there and watched her because I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah, she definitely saw something. But yeah, you had showed me the MIDAR and I wasn't 100% sure like the function or functionality and in game with having that set up. So I was going to ask you about that tonight as well. Now you also said you had the Geiger counter reading.
Yeah, my Geiger counter. I videotaped that too. I don't know. I think the reading said 23 or 24 or something like that. Normally, the baseline here where it sets all the time is like 8.
Right. Yeah.
And when I came in here, it was higher. It wasn't terribly high. And I think in all the information packets that I got with it, it said that normal reading can be up to 60 milligauss or whatever that is. I don't know I know which reading I have it set on. I can't remember, but I know the baseline is always like 7 or 8 or a little less. And this, when I came in here, when the alarm was going off, it was like 25, 24.
You sure you didn't drop ass?
You are stupid. But anyway. But no, so yeah, there's just strange things going around,
Yeah.
lately. And but this docuseries that we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
I really want everyone to be able to check it out. You can see it on you can see the newest episode on National Geographic Channel through your cable provider, or if you got an app for it, I don't know. You can also see all of season 1 and season 2 that is now dropped on Hulu or Disney Plus, and you can see season 1 on YouTube also, but not season 2. Season 2 is the new one that just dropped, and that's the one I'm in. I'm in season 2, episodes 4 and 5, and there's a couple of quick shots of me in the last episode as well. But
Yeah.
they did a really good job, and they really did a good job of bringing the entire subject, but particularly the abduction or the experiencer or the witness part of it, because right now disclosure is focusing mostly on the nuts and bolts stuff, and now the military guys, the pilots and their reports and things like that. And that's great because you got to start somewhere, and that's where the majority of the credibility is, and
Yeah.
that gets people to pay attention and listen. But the witnesses, like myself and millions of others, are a integral part of disclosure, and we have to be recognized, and they have to start talking about us. They have to start talking about it because you you can probably explain 98% of all witness or experiencer things with mundane stuff if you look hard enough, but there's some that you can't, and
Yeah.
we'll never research or pay attention to those if we won't talk about anything,
Right.
and it has to be talked about. It has to be talked about. It's going to have to be brought before Congress at some point, because okay, they've already kind of accepted the fact that there's shit up there flying around that doesn't belong to anybody that lives here, or at least not anybody that we know about,
Right. Yeah. Well, and
and
one of the things that bothered me too when I was watching like the first episode, and this is some, I mean, not necessarily bothered, it's just a question that popped into my head, is one of the retired pilots who is starting to speak out about this was he's like, it comes down to a safety issue
yeah,
with our pilots flying, not knowing what the UFOs are going to be doing, and are they going to change trajectory? Is it going to run into your plane? Which I guess my comment on that is I wouldn't think that something of that nature, if it is UFO, if it is aliens, that they would purposely fly their craft into another craft.
here's the thing. I don't feel like they're any more of a safety issue than any other aircraft up there, because do you hear about UFOs crashing into airplanes all the time? No. But do you hear about airplanes crashing into other airplanes or falling out of the sky? Yes.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, something flying up there that's not known. If you don't know who it is or what it is, it could be a safety issue because it could be one of our enemies. We need
Right.
to know who they are, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
that 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 shouldn't be. Uh, if that's what gets us the money to research more, if that's what the government needs to give us money to do more research on it, okay, that's fine. Then let it be a safety concern. I mean, it is, but it's not any more to me of a concern than any other aircraft flying in the air would
Right.
be.
Yeah.
And I do get that. We need to know who it is, because because what if it's China, or what if it's North Korea, or what if it's Russia?
I don't honestly. I mean,
But we
maybe.
would know. You'd think we would already
Yeah.
know that. We've got
What?
spooks, and we've got the
Yeah.
NORAD and everything else.
My thing is, if it's anybody, it would be China. But it's one of those things that if you look at the stats of our military versus their military and how much more technology and how much more money that the US puts into the military services, I don't see, there's no way that Russia could do it. There's no way. There's no way that North Korea could do it because he is a moron. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That dude is outer limits. But I don't know. I just it was like
we need to know who's flying it.
Yeah. So if aliens were flying this UFO, and let's just go down that rabbit hole at the moment. So it is aliens flying this UFO. My concern wouldn't necessarily be, oh, they're going to run into us. They're going to hit us because
they're going to eat us. They're going to take over the planet and make us slaves.
For real, if they hit you, they're going down too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not going to get caught like that. I don't see that happening. But
no, and I don't think they want to harm humans because come on, let's face it, they could have done that a whole hell of a long time ago if that was the intention. You know,
I think I don't know. I think some, let's go this road too. I think there might be some aliens that, just like here on Earth, you've got different countries with different views, and I mean, I don't want to go like a World War II scenario where they want to dominate the world, and then you've got the good guys and the bad guys.
Well, sure, there's probably multiple things going on out there with all different kinds of agendas. Some of them are benevolent towards us, like we are towards our pets. Some of them are we're like a nuisance, like a bee that they swat away, and some of them just don't care. We're just there. As long as we stay out of the way, they could care less what we do.
Lock the windows and roll up the doors, kids. We're going by Earth.
Right. That would be a wise move. But yeah. So
was it you and I that were talking? It's been years ago about. There was, or we might have had somebody on the show that was talking about like something of a galactic war, empire rebellion type scenario.
Yeah, somebody was. I can't remember who it was though.
I can't remember who it was either. But yeah, we were talking about that, and I don't know. That kind of, in my Star Wars mind, makes sense to me, I guess.
If you watch this UFOs Investigating the Unknown, you'll get to see me when I was 23 and I had fire engine red hair and
a nice little ear cuff.
Banging ear cuff, man.
I'm gonna have to get me one then, bringing that back.
That was before I had like 9 piercings,
Yeah, I saw that.
And you get to hear my little voice. I told Greg, he goes, your voice doesn't even sound like you. It's so high and squeaky. And I said, that's because I still had 8,000 packs of cigarettes to smoke and 2 kids to scream at for another 10 years.
I was like, I told the wife, I'm like, that doesn't even sound like Deb.
I thought, I'm so young.
Right? You sounded like a damn teenager.
I was only 23 when that recording was made. And another reason why I'm thankful I was invited to be a part of this and was involved in it is because I didn't have, those weren't my audio tapes. Those were found by one of the producers and in some of Bud's old stuff, which I thought they had all been destroyed. I had no idea that some of my hypnosis sessions were I knew they were recorded. I had no idea the tapes still existed. Every hypnosis session that I had with Bud was recorded, every one. I didn't have that many because I lived in Indiana and he lived in New York, and this was 1980 in the 1980s, and I didn't have any money. I sold my washer and dryer to get a bus ticket to go there that time, but so it's not like I had a whole bunch of hypnotherapy, you know what I mean? I maybe had 5 sessions or something like that all told with him over the course of how many years? Um, but I knew the tapes existed at one time, but I thought they'd been destroyed. Honestly, I thought they'd been destroyed by his late ex-wife.
Yeah.
But the producers of this documentary found some of this stuff, and they gave it to me. One of the guys one of the guys who worked on the production team actually made digital copies for me.
Oh,
And sent
nice.
them, yes, and sent them to me so I could always have them. And I was sitting there listening to them. I'm like, oh my God. There's one phone conversation. You have to understand too. My mother and father have been dead for years. My mom's been gone for over 20 years. And there's a phone conversation with Bud and my mom. Bud's been gone since 2012.
Yeah.
And here I am hearing these voices of these people that were so important to me in my life and my past. I was like almost in tears listening
bet.
to them, and then realized the magnitude of what they were saying. And then he interviews on the phone with my sister, Kathy, my older sister. My older sister is 76 years old. She had many strokes. She has dementia now, and she's in a dementia facility. And most of the time she doesn't know me or anybody, it's dementia and
Right.
it's not good. But to hear her talk to Bud, and to hear her voice again and hear her whole and healthy, and the things that she said about me to him, remember a story I told you about how when I cleaned Mom's copper handles on her kitchen cabinet doors, because Kathy was going to refinish Mom's kitchen cabinets for their anniversary present, and my job as a teenager was to polish the brass handles because she took them off while she was
Right.
refinishing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it. It pissed me off. So I was a little snippety about it while I was doing it. And then when she came out there to the bucket to see what I was doing, they were all twisted up. And she's like, "What the hell did you do?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything." She's like, "Look at all these." And she dumped the bucket out and they were all twisted and knotted up. And I'm like, "Damn, I didn't know I did that," because they were all underwater when I was scrubbing on them.
Right.
And so they couldn't be bent back. They were solid copper. So she had to throw them away and buy new ones. And she was pissed at me. And I'm like, "Oh, well, don't ask me to do shit anymore." I was like 15. I didn't care. I'm like, "Don't ask me to do nothing anymore then, heifer." But she says to Bud, she tells him about this bending the handles on Mom's counter, on Mom's things. And she says, "There's something different about Debbie. There's something different. She's got some kind of special gift. And if she would learn how to use it or harness it, she would be a force to be reckoned with," or something like that. And I'm like, damn, I never knew she said that about me. I never knew any of that. I didn't know she told Bud that. I didn't know she told him about the handles on the cabinets. So to hear all that again and everything was just, I was so grateful to have it. And just think, if I hadn't been invited into this, I wouldn't have those now. So, I mean, it's like a gift from the universe for, doing this. It was wonderful.
Not to give too much away, but the images of the house that they were showing, was that the actual house that?
Yeah.
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 Right on.
It sure was. And
I've never seen the burnt ground, the petrified ground. No, you've never shown me those pictures.
You are kidding me. How long have we known each other? Oh yeah, there it is. And yeah, that's the house. And somebody else lives there now. It was sold, a long, long time ago.
Right.
Last I heard, the people who bought the house have had no paranormal activity and no UFO activity whatsoever.
Right.
When they found out what happened to that house, and they were given the book because the girl who bought it was actually school friends with a mutual friend of mine from school, or someone I knew anyway, not really a close friend, but someone I knew who was
right,
a kind of a friend. And she told them about it, and they were kind of gobsmacked. Holy shit, but the last I heard, no, it's been quiet there. But that house is in Indianapolis, and there are a couple of clips in the docuseries. Because when the book was first written and it got out publicly, I mean, we were contacted by all of the news stations, TV stations. They came up. We even had a ABC news station guy come out from New York City and do a walkthrough and talk to us
Was that
on
the
it.
WJGK or whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we had people from the local news here. They came out and they did film. They filmed and interviewed us. And in one of those films, Dad's talking about him and my Uncle Jim had a Geiger counter, and he goes, "It was radioactive." I remember them saying, I remember Daddy and Uncle Jim talking. Dad, I don't know where they got this Geiger counter from, but I knew they couldn't zero it. When they got close to the house, it wouldn't even zero. They couldn't zero it till they got back behind the barn and the workshop. And then when they would come towards the mark in the yard, then it would just go batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But they had my dad's name as Harry Tomey.
I saw that.
Now that wasn't this production company. I think that was a mistake made by the original film crew from where that clip came from. So
the news crew,
yeah. So I mean, it wouldn't be, it couldn't, it's not that big a deal. But I just kind of chuckled. It doesn't change the story or anything at all. But it's like, look at that shit, And but to hear my dad's voice again, that was cool.
Oh yeah, I bet so. I bet that was really cool.
Yeah.
Now, where did they do the did they go to the old house and ask the people, hey, can we go in the backyard? And
no, those were all clips from, like I said, when other news agencies came to our house and filmed. They managed to find those things. And but no, they didn't come out here to Indianapolis. When I filmed there, I just went to New York, and we filmed a couple of days, and one of them was in Manhattan, and then another day was out in New Rochelle. He
was out with Dick Van Dyke. Come on.
I know. I said, I'm going to Dick's house. Yeah.
Right.
I know when we rolled into New Rochelle, there's a little sign, and it's a nice little town. I mean, it was really nice. It took maybe 30 or 40 minutes to get there from Manhattan.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to Dick Van Dyke's house. I'm going to Dick Van Dyke. And the house that we went to was very nice, and the people who owned it were very nice. The video, the clips when you see me outside walking around and stuff, that's where it was. It wasn't in Indianapolis.
Okay.
But that's how they do shit. But it was, the production company was super nice. The people were really nice. They were very open-minded. They were very respectful and pleasant to work with and patient. And yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the best crews I've ever done anything with. And haven't done a lot in 40 years, but I bet I've done more than you. I've done it a few times. So, and I'd say this is probably the best crew I've ever worked with.
Love of God, you got interviewed by freaking Oprah Winfrey.
That was when she was now, and that clip is on there in the documentary too. That's when she was still a local
at the news station. Yeah,
she was still a local in Chicago. It was AM Chicago with Oprah Winfrey at that point.
Right.
And but I'll tell you what. And people always be slamming Oprah and all that, and making fun of her. When I was there, and what we was talking about some crazy shit, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I was terrified. Not only was I just terrified. I mean, I was my first airplane ride. I'd never flown a plane before. It was snowy out. Kathy came with me, my sister.
Yeah.
I was terrified, and I was overwhelmed by the TV studio and everything. And then here comes this star, Oprah Winfrey, which I didn't really know a lot about her at the time. She was still local, but I was told that she was very popular. And when she came out, she was so nice. She was so kind and patient with me. And, she recognized that I was scared. And I told her, she asked me about it. And I think I even at one point told her, I said, well, I'm kind of embarrassed to be talking about this in front of everybody because it sounds crazy. And I know that. And it's embarrassing, but it's what it is. And you want to know. So I'm telling you, but but you know, it's hard. It was hard for me. I was so bashful and so shy when I was young. For God's sake, you wouldn't even know I'm the same person now because I don't care. But I mean, that just comes with age. But back then, when I was 24 years old, you saw how I looked down and my voice was real soft.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
mortified.
trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. Hold on.
I was mortified.
Yeah, you
And
look like you was about to hurl right there on her feet.
I was sweating bullets under my outfit, and oh Lord, you know, but she was super nice and very open-minded. And even when the audience kind of got a little laughy, you know, she chided them.
Did she really?
Yeah, she's like, "No, don't do that. No, you know, this is really hard for her. So let's listen to what she has to say." Yeah, she was that way with me. I mean, so I've always had respect for her because I had personal interaction with her, you know. And that just told me, you know, how she's kind of woo-woo now. Well, I
Right.
believe it. I could see, I knew it then that she was different, that she was more attentive, you know what I mean? Like I was interviewed by a Canadian Oprah. This woman was like the equivalent of later Oprah Winfrey in Canada. Her name was Deanie Petty. And I flew to Canada and was on her show with Bud. She was very kind. She was nice, but she was more businesslike. And um, I didn't feel the compassion from her that I did from Oprah.
Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was interesting. But yeah, they popped up with they dug up some old shit on me there in that thing, which I'm glad they did, you know, but God, they could do 2 documentaries about my life and still run out of time.
Which episode is the you and Oprah? Is it in the fourth one?
I I think it's in the 4th one because I'm in the 4th one most, aren't I? I don't know. You know, it's the way I love the way they did it when you stream these.
Mhm.
They're kind of seamless. They just kind of one runs right into another. I didn't even realize I was in episode 5. I was watching episode 5 until it ended and it said episode 6. I'm like, what happened? Wait, I was watching 4. It was just kind of seamlessly glided right into, you know, the way they had it all laid out from season 1 all the way to season 6. It was just one long glide. It was, you know, and it just meshed.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah.
it
They
was really well done.
put it together really well. Yeah, and you can tell it was edited, like one long video, all the film, and then they went in and did the actual edit and
Mm-hmm.
got everything together on it. Um, I don't know. They talk about your book or Bud's book, Intruders, the one about you.
Yeah.
Um, they talk. Oh, there it is. Hold
You
on. Let
know,
me,
the documentary filmmaker that did this, Ricky Stern, I guess she's really she's an award-winning documentary, very acclaimed for her work. So and it shows.
yeah. Oh, is it not going to show? Oh, it won't show. Damn it.
Why won't it? Oh, I see. Probably because it's copywritten.
That's exactly why. I wanted to show them an old picture of you. I'm gonna screen print that bad boy.
You're
I'm
going
gonna
to
get.
screen grab it so you can humiliate me in public, you asshole. You're just
I would
like my
never.
little brother.
I would never do that.
Bam! You're going to take my face off of the intro and put this in it, aren't you? I
Wait,
look
hold
like
on.
an old school marm in the intro, but I look like an old hag right now. I don't feel good, you guys. I got a cold or something, so I'm just saying that's why I'm looking kind of raggedy, but I'll get over it.
Nah, you're fine, homie. Don't worry about it.
You're fine, homie.
I hope this works. So,
You
I
ain't
mean,
fine.
what was the? I guess the overall experience with talking with the other. I mean, you do it all the time, and I guess it's when you talk to different experiencers, but that's not going to work. They got me.
She
But
has won a couple of Emmys for her work. She
yeah,
did a documentary on Joan Rivers, new and documentary Emmy Award for 2008 HBO documentary films. So she's an Emmy Award winning documentary filmmaker that did this. She's 17 wins and 16 nominations, Critics' Choice. I mean, she's wonderful. She was so nice to work with, and I would love to work with her again someday.
I love
And
that.
she's the one I played all the paranormal stuff
Yeah.
to that she liked. So
Yeah, they got you hooked up with Rachel Drench
yeah,
or Dretch. For those of you who don't know, she's on SNL. But the thing that I think that really got me was how young you were. I was like, damn, look at
no,
Dan.
I had to be driven. Something had to be inside of me pushing me to do this for me to do what I did.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
be so young and naive,
You was
and so
done for when Oprah was talking to you. You were just like, get me the out of here. I'm over it. I don't.
But I kept talking. I kept telling my
Yeah.
story because something was compelling me to. I felt that's why I was born to do this, and I just better shit and get glad.
Yeah, let's give the listeners a snippet of a story.
Like
so
what?
I don't want to give them like your whole story because I think we need to go over your whole story again, just like I didn't know you and we would talk about your story. But some of the weird stuff that had happened to you. Tell them about the ring.
The what?
The ring.
The ring my boyfriend gave me that went missing for a few days.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is weird. This is something you guys don't hear about often. I don't talk about it a lot, even when I do podcasts. I mean, other people's podcasts, because time is limited. I have so many freaking stories. I'm 65 years old. I've had weird shit happen to me my whole life. I can tell you weird stories for days, and this is one that I don't tell very often, but it is interesting. I was living with my mom and dad at the time. The boys were, I'd moved back home, and it was after June 30, 83. So it was after, all of this crazy shit started. But he and I got into a fight, and I got pissed off at him, and I took my ring off. He had given me a promise ring, and I took my ring off and put it on my nightstand before I went to bed. And I was mad at him, right? Well, I got up in the morning, and I'm like, oh, my ring. So I went to go get my ring and put it back on, and it was gone. And I'm like, well, shit. I have a water bed, so it was hard to move anything around to see. The room was tiny and the bed was big. I looked everywhere, and I could not find that ring. And I was really upset about it and looked around for three days. I was looking for this ring, and I was afraid to tell him that I lost it. We made up, but he hadn't come over yet, but he was going to see if I didn't have my ring on, and I was going to have to tell him. So anyway, a couple of days pass. I don't know, 2 or 3 days pass, and I'm running the sweeper upstairs, and I run the sweeper in my room, and then I run the sweeper in the boys' room. My boys were little, and they slept in the same room, 2 twin beds, one on each side of the dresser, and that was all that could fit in there pretty much. All of a sudden, while I'm running the sweeper, I get this overpowering thought that my ring is in this room. And I'm like, okay. So I start looking under the bed and moving both the beds, moving shit around. I don't see no ring. It's carpeted, right? I don't see no ring. And I'm thinking maybe I swept it up in the sweeper. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I thought that, I'm like, nope, I didn't sweep it up in the sweeper. It's still on the floor. And I'm like, what? Where's this ring, right? So then I'm thinking, I don't know why. I lost my mind a little bit. I moved the bed out of the way. And you know how there's a tack strip around the edge of the wall where the carpet clings to it? Mm-hmm. I yanked some of the carpet off of the tack strip. And I saw that there was padding under there. And I'm like, oh, that's where my ring is. So I'm sticking my arm under there and I'm feeling around, right? And I'm like, no, farther. I got to go farther. Something in my mind is telling me more, more, more. So I moved both the beds over to one side of the room and I yanked the whole carpet up to almost to the middle of the room, as far as I could go where the beds were. And I started feeling on the foam padding and I thought I could feel something. So the padding, the foam was like stapled to the wood floor. So I'm ripping this piece of foam padding off, ripping off the staples or, clinging onto the foam. And there in the middle of the room, under the carpet and the padding, that was tacked to the wall-to-wall carpeting, right, was my ring. Just as I'm finishing up, ripping it up, right, ripping up the carpet and making all this noise, my mom comes in and she's like, holy shit, what in the hell are you doing? And I'm like, my ring is under here. And I'm, foam, it's flying everywhere. And I reached my hand up under it and I went, here it is. And my mom was like, what? Yeah. So, and then of course, I had to spend the next 2 days fixing the rug.
Put the carpet back down.
I had to buy new foam for where I tore it up, put the foam back down and re-stretch the carpet. My dad helped me to get this, you can't just stick it back on there. You got to like stretch it on there. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how it got there. And I don't know how I knew where it was. I mean, I felt like I was being possessed when I started ripping the padding up and shred it. I was done. I was out of the building at that point. I don't know what was happening. Right. And nobody would believe that story if my mother hadn't walked in right before I found the ring.
The ring, yeah.
You know what I mean? And my mom witnessed this psychotic chaos I created,
Right.
So yeah, that's a weird story that I don't tell too often.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one in 10 years.
Yep. Yep. That's one. I've had, when I was a hairdresser, when I was in beauty school, I was at I went to beauty school at the Eastgate Mall in Indianapolis. There was a beauty school there. I can't even remember what it's called now. All I know was a Redken SES school. Anyways, because I ended up graduating a Redken SES color specialist. I can make your hair any color you want. Yeah. But I used to go to the mall on break and get a soda pop. And I would just kind of sit there in the, mall part where you could sit just to get out of the beauty school for a while. So I could relax and on my break and not smell perm, stuff
right,
like that. And so I was sitting there and there was what they call them a kiosk with TV monitors on on all four sides. And they were showing different commercials and stuff. This was like in 1985. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sitting there and just kind of looking at this, and this old dude walks up to me and he says, "This belongs to you, ma'am." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't." It was a ring. It was a silver ring. It looked like a man's ring almost. And it was a turquoise ring that had a phoenix on it. Right. And he said, and I took a picture of the ring, and there's a picture of this ring that is on my website because I took a picture of it when I got it from this guy. Yeah. He came up to me and he said, this belongs to you. And I said, no. I said, that's a really nice ring, but that's not mine. He goes, no, I mean, this belongs to you. Take it. And I'm like, okay, this was getting weird, and then he sat down next to me and he's quiet and I'm thinking, what the hell is happening? And he's looking at the TV monitors and he says, "What are those?" And I'm like, "You talking about the commercials on there or what?" He goes, No, what is this thing that has this moving stuff on it? And I'm like, what? are you talking about the TV screens on the kiosk? And he goes, yeah, I think so. And so I explained it to him and how it worked and what the images were and how they were, broadcasted into it or whatever. And he's like, that's interesting. Thank you so much for explaining that to me. And I'm like, you're welcome. And then he says, I have to go now. And he got up and he left and we wandered down the mall. I'm like, that was the weirdest shit I've ever experienced. But I got a new ring out of it. Woohoo! And I went home and took a picture of the ring. And I took a picture of it with an actual camera. So I have a photograph of this ring because this was before.
I'm looking for it.
Yeah. So I took a picture of it with my camera. And then a couple of days later, I woke up and it was gone and I never found it again.
Really?
This was a ring that disappeared and it never came back. Yeah. And I have no idea what happened to it.
That shit's under my carpet.
So
I'm trying to find it. Where's it at? I want to see the ring.
It should be on the website.
Under photos?
It should be. Let me see here.
Photos and drawings?
It should be. If they don't, I know I have it on my phone. I'm pretty sure. Because I bought some more cloud storage space and I was trying to clean off my computer.
Yeah.
And I also bought one of those 1 terabyte drives, the external drive that,
Oh, yeah.
To dump pictures and videos and stuff on. And then I was going to get rid of a bunch of crap so that I could have more space and my computer would work better because I got 80 million freaking pictures. I'm a picture queen. But
you're not wrong.
I took them off, but there should be some in here because I was moving some pictures around. I move them from my phone to my computer and then back and forth when I need them for various things.
Right.
Because I had like 10 or 11,000 pictures on my phone. And I'm like, this ain't going to work.
I'm surprised you had enough room on your phone for anything else.
I know. Well, come on now. I know you in here somewhere. So we're getting close.
So, yeah. So you guys know and can keep up UFOs. Investigating the Unknown on Nat Geo, Hulu, Discovery Plus, not Discovery Plus, Disney Plus, because it's part of Hulu as well, or vice versa. But check it out, and you can see Deb in episode 4, 5, and 6. And I'm not in it, so you won't see me.
There it is.
So, what? Now, how you gonna? Where was it?
It's in my phone. I thought it was on my website.
Never mind.
You see it?
You can show it to me later. I can barely see. There's a glare. So, let's see what else. What else? You got some cool stuff coming up as well. Why don't you tell everybody what's going on? Oh, I see it. Okay.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah, I know. It was weirder still that it actually fit my fat finger because, man, I had some sausage fingers back then.
Sausages. Sausages.
I am, I'm going to be a guest on Rachel Dresser's Woo Woo podcast. We're going to record, I think, maybe Monday. But once it drops, I will let everybody know so they can go and listen to it because it ought to be fun. I've listened to a few of her podcasts and you ought to go and subscribe to her podcast because they're a lot of fun. She interviews famous people. They tell the ghost stories and whatnot. And it's fun.
Dude, I always liked watching the celebrity ghost stories.
I did too.
Yeah. That they had on. Some of them were a little outer limits, but one of them had,
I can't say anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm way outer limits.
No, I mean it's just outer limits. Like you're full of shit. That didn't happen. You a damn lie. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no way. But anyway, but who was it? It was I think the one from T-Boz, who's the T-Boz Left Eye and Chili? Don't go something through waterfalls or whatever.
Yeah.
What was the name of that group? Anyway,
Dude, I'm old. Ask me about
yeah,
Led
but I mean, this
Zeppelin.
is in the 80s and 90s, though. We should remember. Well, we are old, so we don't remember much. But anyway, one of the singers died. Left Eye. Her name was Left Eye, her nickname, and she had died. But one of the other living who was really close with her in the group was having visitations from her, and it was her story going through it. It was pretty dope. It was pretty cool. TLC, that's what it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Kim, Kimberly, or Kim, however you want to. Is it Kim or is it Kimberly?
Shut up.
But thank you for that. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It was just that was a psychic lady that was doing that, not the big bouffant lady. It was another lady. Sammy Hagar has some pretty cool ghost stories. And anyway, you'll have to check it out. Celebrity Ghost Stories. I think you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Discovery Plus. I watched. Oh, speaking of which, everyone knows how much I love Zach Gaggins. I mean Baggins. I mean, you know what I mean. And I was sitting here the other night because I've not been sleeping very well, and a video or some kind of news article popped up about Ghost Adventures and how he treated his people on set and how they did their investigations. Kind of weird. And they did an investigation in, I'm wanting to say it was either Oregon or Seattle, about a couple that the guy, part of the couple, ends up suing them, the production company, because of the stuff that they did while on site. I mean, they basically chastised him and his girlfriend for saying that they had stuff in their place and didn't, because they didn't find anything. But I ended up watching that episode, which was pretty good as far as learning what not to do when doing investigations.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just like, man, that poor guy. You know, go into, I guess my point of the story is go into an investigation with an open mind, because if somebody needs help, they need help, be it supernatural or actually physical, mental help.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. So, but anyway,
You know,
remember, you
and
guys go out and check out the UFOs investigating the unknown on the Discovery, Hulu, and Disney, Nat Geo.
Yeah, and
Well,
and hit me up on Facebook or on my website or on here and let me know what you think. I really feel good about it, and I hope that it helps a lot of people.
honestly, I wish I'd have started off like Star Wars and did 4, 5, and 6, then 1, 2, and 3, so I could have saw more of it. But I wanted to get to, of course, what you were in, because you know, here we are.
Mhm.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and seeing you young like that, oh my god,
I knew you'd get a kick out of that.
I was tripping.
I was
tripping.
embarrassed.
Like, look at my homie, man. Come on. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So go check it out and look for the link. We'll post it up in the Midwest Paratalk Facebook page, the link for Rachel's podcast when it's out, and you can go out and listen to it there as well. Go out and, like Deb said, subscribe to her podcast. It's called Woo Woo. Woo woo.
And you know what? If you don't have Hulu, go get get the free trial so you can watch this and then cancel it. That's what I do. I have it now, but before I I know that's bad. I'm bad. Sorry.
You know what though? I ain't mad at you, because I've done that too. But no, I subscribe to Hulu anyway.
Me too.
So I was able to go right to it and pop it up. For us, we'll be back next Thursday doing another show. You can catch the Bips Paratalk podcast on Saturday at 6 because I think we're all going to be snowed in again. If we have power, that is.
I hope you guys do okay. It's all going south this year. Usually we get it because I'm up north, but
Right. We're all going to get it this time. Everyone in Indiana, I think, from all the way
I think
Lafayette
we're in
all the
the
way
2 to
down
4 inch
into
range.
Evansville.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you were able to get out of your driveway for a little bit today, though.
Bruh, that was a pain. It was terrible. But yeah, so check out the Woo Woo. Check out the UFOs Investigating the Unknown. Check us out next Thursday night.
Yep.
And check out
And I'll
Boonville,
comb
Indiana
my hair.
Friendly Society's podcast on Saturday around 6. And check out what?
I said I'll comb my hair.
I think we kind of already let that ship sail.
So shut up.
But yeah, so we'll have an investigation and talk about coming up here, depending, weather permitting, the next couple of weeks as well. So I wouldn't mind getting like Billy on, but we'll have to do like a pre-record because he works evenings.
Oh, okay.
We might see about getting you on to the Bips Para.
Yeah, that'd be fun
as well, and we'll just sit around and BS. I want to give a shout out to everybody out in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out. If you want to go over to the YouTube page, find Midwest Para Talk Radio, click the like and subscribe. It helps us out so we can get our viewing hours and stats up on that. Promote it out for us if you want. If you like what you see, there's probably close to 50 new videos out, and there are some older videos from like 2015 out there on the YouTube page. So we've been doing this a long time, and just really getting into the video stuff. So here, like in the last year and a half. But yeah, we did it back in 2015. I was in Georgia. That one podcast that we were doing.
Really?
I got 2 or 3 on there that it's us. Yeah, me from Georgia. But give a shout out to, like I said, everybody out in the chat on Facebook, on the YouTube, and our homie from down under, Belinda, jumped into the.
Oh, hey, Belinda. Long time no see.
Right? I haven't talked to her in forever.
Oh, yeah.
So, but thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're coming up to the bottom of the last hour that we've been on, an hour and a half. How would you even say that?
I don't know.
Bottom of the hour. Yeah, we're at the bottom of the hour here, so we're going to get ready to break out of here. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can definitely hit us up on the YouTube page and leave a comment there. You can hit me up at gcable@midwestparatalkradio.com. You can hit Deb up at debcobble@gmail.com. Also, go out to Deb's page, debshome.com. You can buy her books out there on her webpage. You can peruse her little site and look at her videos and her pictures. And there's a lot of information out there I think you guys would really enjoy. Let me scroll down. I don't know why the chat doesn't keep be naughty. You know that shit's right. Doesn't scroll right. I'm gonna have to work that out. But thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. You guys rock. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
I don't know. We've kind of been not doing our show at the right times. We've just kind of been doing it whenever we want to. So I'll try next week maybe to post up a little heads up in Facebook, and
or if you subscribe and you hit the like and the notification button, you'll get notified.
You'll be notified. You'll be
notified.
Right. You know that right?
You're so stupid. Don't even start. Good God.
I got you. All right, you guys. Out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, where's my mouse? Bye-bye.